Today we're tackling something pretty common, right? How to study effectively. Not just scraping by, but aiming for what we're calling a very good pass in your exams.
Yeah, getting that strong result without feeling totally swamped.
Exactly. So our mission here is to, cut through all the advice and pull out some really actionable tips you can use like right away.
Tips grounded in how we actually learn, moving beyond just reading notes passively.
Okay, let's get straight into it then. First up,
Yeah,
clear, specific goals.
absolutely crucial. Just saying I want to pass is, well, it's too vague.
Right. Doesn't really give you direction, does it?
Not at all. You need to define what that very good pass actually looks like. That example, score 75 plus in my ERPM medicine paper.
Yeah, that's specific.
It's specific, it's measurable, it gives you a real target, you know what you're aiming for.
Makes sense. Okay, so you've got that clear goal. What's the next step? Planning.
Yep, realistic planning and timelines. This part can feel a bit daunting, I think.
Oh, definitely. Staring at a whole syllabus.
Right. So break it down. Look at the syllabus. Figure out how much time you actually have.
Be honest with yourself there.
Totally. And then map it out. Use Google Calendar, Notion, even just a physical planner. Put specific topics into specific weeks or months.
So it feels less like this giant mountain to climb.
Exactly. It makes it tangible. Like, okay, this week is cardiology.
And deadlines are key within that plan, right? Not just I'll study endocrinology eventually.
Precisely. You need those checkpoints. Like by the end of week 3, I will be done with all the endocrinology topics. That keeps you accountable.
Yeah, keeps you on track for that very good pass level of prep.
But then how do you actually stick to the schedule? That brings us to distractions.
The big one. Phones buzzing, social media calling.
It's constant, isn't it? So being intentional is key. Turn off notifications. Maybe use those website blocker apps.
Having a dedicated study space helps too, I find. Signals to your brain, okay, it's focus time.
Definitely. And maybe try the Pomodoro technique.
Oh yeah, I like that one. Those like 25 or maybe 50-minute bursts of focus.
Followed by short breaks. It helps maximize concentration, especially when you're aiming for that deeper understanding needed for a strong result.
It prevents burnout too, I think. Okay, so minimize distractions. Then what about the actual studying part? Just reading isn't enough, you said.
Right. We need smarter strategies, active engagement, active recall.
So testing yourself instead of just rereading.
Exactly. It feels harder, for sure.
Yeah, it does.
But pulling that information out of your brain actually strengthens the memory trace and makes it stick way better than passively scanning the page again. Vital for exam success.
Okay, active recall. What else?
Spaced repetition. So revisiting information, but at increasing intervals.
Right, so you see it again just before you might forget it.
Pretty much. It cements it in your long-term memory. Crucial for remembering things weeks or months later in the exam.
And you mentioned interleaving, mixing things up.
Yeah, instead of blocking out, say, 4 hours just for one subject, mixed topics, it forces your brain to work a bit harder, differentiate concepts, and actually leads to deeper understanding.
Interesting. Okay. Active strategies. What about just pure memorization? Some things you just have to memorize, right?
True. And for that, memory techniques like mnemonics can be super helpful.
Like the classic anatomy ones. O, to touch and feel.
Exactly. Or creating stories, visual associations. Making the information weird or funny helps it stick. Drawing diagrams, mind maps.
I used to teach concepts to my wall.
Yeah, teaching it to someone else, even an imaginary person or a wall, forces you to structure it and understand it properly. It really reinforces it for that deep recall needed for a very good pass.
Okay, what about reading? Lots of reading involved in studying. How to do that effectively.
Yeah, it's not just about running your eyes over the words. Active reading, maybe skim first, get the gist.
Get the lay of the land.
Right, then read deeply for comprehension. And here's a key thing. Highlight after you understand a section, not while you're reading it for the first time.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Because otherwise, you tend to highlight almost everything, thinking it's all important before you've got the main idea. Highlight the key points once you grasp them.
And summarizing in your own words.
Huge. That's a form of active recall, really. It forces you to process and rephrase, ensuring you've actually understood it, not just recognized the words.
Makes sense. Okay, last bit. Motivation. It's tough to stay motivated all the time.
Oh, absolutely. It naturally ebbs and flows. That's normal.
So what do you do when it dips?
Remember your why. Why did you set that specific goal, that very good pass goal in the first place? Reconnect with that.
Visualize the success. Finishing the exam feeling good about it.
Yes. Visualization is powerful. Also, reward yourself for hitting those milestones you set in your plan. Small rewards keep you going.
And maybe find a supportive environment, study buddies, or even just tuning into resources like this.
Exactly. Knowing you're not alone helps.
Okay, great. So let's quickly recap. Clear goals, realistic plan with deadlines, manage distractions, use active recall, spaced repetition, interleaving.
Use memory techniques, read actively, skim, read, highlight later, summarize.
And keep that motivation up by remembering your why, visualizing success, and rewarding yourself. Those seem like the core tools for hitting that very good pass.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought for you listening. What's just one of these things you could try, like today, in your next study session?
Good challenge. Don't try to do everything at once, maybe.
Right. Pick one. Start small. Consistent application is what makes the difference in the long run. Adapting these to how you learn best.
Excellent.